Hey everyone, this lesson is unique. It's only one verse. This doesn't happen very often. And so instead of being anxious about, oh, I might run out of time, is there going to be enough to do? We can be excited. There's going to be room to be creative, to have some fun, to dive in deep, and to have a great experience with a unique doctrine of baptisms for the dead. Today I want to talk about just a skill that is going to be in this lesson that I think is going to be useful for every lesson, and that is regarding visuals. I like to use this little clip, just a couple seconds from the 2009 Pixar movie Up, to illustrate a point about our students and really about us as well. Check this out.
My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
So sometimes I use this clip to talk about attention spans. That we just don't have a very great attention span in the modern world, which is true. But the thing today I want to point out is that when there is something to look at, we tend to look at it. And so visuals can be a great way to get students to pay attention, having something for them to do so that they're active participants in the classroom. If there's something to look at, chances are they're going to look. And so you'll notice in this lesson, it starts out with a bunch of pictures, which is great. There's a number of ways to use images. You can just use it straight here from the teacher manual. You can make it bigger or smaller and just show it on a screen, on a tablet. You can right-click on these and copy the image and put it into PowerPoint. But this is a great activity if you've got three pairings of images and saying, how do these connect? This could be done as a class. It might be fun to do as a pair. Say you've got you two together and you've got 30 seconds to talk about how do these two pictures work together. Set two is how do these two pictures work together? And you're going to have different ideas and it'd be kind of fun. How does vegetables relate to running and things that way? But they're going to discover a relationship. Set three is the challenging one that's going to be the basis for the lesson today. And so this is one for them to dig in a little bit. How does this picture relate to this picture? And you're going to have time. So let them talk about it and share some great things regarding how an empty tomb relates to modern day temples. The images will be fun. It'll be a great way to keep everybody awake, alert, and involved, which is great. So after you develop this, you're going to go to your one verse and have some great discussions. How are baptisms for the dead a testimony of the Savior, his atonement, and the resurrection? Great question. You might want to include an image, even this image right here. You can ask them a little bit, who's seen a font like this? Where did you see it? How many have you been to? Just have some fun with the image. But why the oxen? Don't take too much time, but get students involved. But almost any question today can be used with an image. And so this is where we discuss this. Now, there was a preparation activity. If you prepared in advance and had students come prepared to share some family history, maybe to show a family tree, to try to locate a family member that didn't have the gospel. So that would be prior to 1830. You may even want, speaking of visuals, to bring your version of that. And so here's my family tree from Family Search. I'm logged in, and I may want to, I kind of like changing to the fan chart just because that one, okay, I got to bring this down. That one shows it for me pretty visually. But you can see how many of these people looking at the date. So as if this is small, you can have a student come up a little bit closer if it's on a TV screen. Find out which generation are kind of before 1830. And so you can say, wow, this whole generation here, none of them would have had access to the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. And if somebody has a story to tell, I can tell some stories about Ezekiel Johnson, a common ancestor of a lot of people. He was never a member of the church, but we know stories about him and good things that he did. And so we can talk about using a visual, some of our ancestors that didn't have access to the gospel. Going back to the lesson, this is where we're going to go a little bit deeper into the doctrine. And students will have an opportunity to search in the topical guide or under some of these resources listed. But again, this is a looking. They're going to divert their attention and have something else to look at, to study, to do. This is one of the great skills, I think, of teaching. Instead of what am I going to do as a teacher? What am I going to share or dispense? To be thinking about where are my students going to be looking? What are they going to be doing? How are they going to be searching and thinking and examining the gospel of Jesus Christ? Fun day, great lesson. I hope it's wonderful for you and your students.